Since taking the PubTalk stage virtually in April of 2020, Puffin has managed to increase top-line revenue and headcount even with the pandemic headwinds. They are in the process of refreshing their brand and have created a sustainability and community impact department called Good Together. President and founder Tyrone Hazen is here to tell us more. Come on up, Tyrone.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the intro. Hi. I'm Tyrone Hazen, co-founder and president of Puffin Drinkwear, and this is actually my third time on stage, but it is my first time as my second time for the same company, which feels really good. It feels like I've been successful at something. I get to get up here and give an update as opposed to just, hey, here's a new idea I'm going to try. As Shannon mentioned, I was, I think, one of the first cohort to give a presentation at the beginning of COVID pandemic, so we did so virtually, and it's really nice to see a crowd again. Can we get just a quick round of applause for there being crowds again? That's really awesome to see faces in person. So at my last presentation, we had just finished up our 2019 year, and we had closed the year with, I think, $275,000 in sales, and we were at between 5 and 6 employees, depending on the day. And then introduced COVID, and that was a really fun time for everybody, especially small businesses. With those headwinds, we still managed to grow at a rather unprecedented rate that I'm really proud to share. So we did $2 million plus in sales in 2020, and then we did over $5 million in sales last year, and we're looking to double that yet again this year. We are currently at 19 employees here in Bend. We have 4 additional full-time employees overseas, and then half a dozen contractors that are mostly local that work with us on a very regular basis. So we have grown in all of the ways you can imagine, and it's been great. So that's where we are now, but looking forward, some really exciting things coming up. Previously, we were known as Puffin Coolers, so we've kind of going through a brand redesign right now, and we are known as Puffin Drinkwear, and that's W-E-A-R. Get it? Drinkware? Yeah, right? So we feel like that fits kind of the general theme that what we're bringing to the table here is we make apparel for your drink. And one of the other really fun things that we're doing, we've got, in addition to that, we've got kind of our version 2.0 products, and we've increased or improved the interior lining, which allows us to do embroidery. We just got a 6-head embroidery machine delivered last week for customization that allows us to reduce lead time as well as minimum order quantities for customization. We've also got this nice kind of siliconized base, so increases perceived value and actual value of the product. So a lot of fun things happening there. And then, like I mentioned, or was mentioned in the introduction there, we have launched an initiative that we call Good Together, and that's kind of our sustainability and community impact department. And we actually had a launch just last week. Our kind of coming out party was at Open Space, and we worked on behalf of Think Wild, a local nonprofit organization that does wildlife rehabilitation. And so we worked with them over a handful of months. We presented a film to kind of help them expose the mission that they're working on and how people can help them. And so that's kind of the thing that we're working on now moving forward. We'll be doing a lot of co-branding efforts we've got a lot of major brands that are working with us discussing kind of bespoke products that will represent them and their identity, as well as it allows us to partner with nonprofit organizations and actually tie their mission to one of our silhouettes. So, for example, we're working with the concessionaires for the Kennedy Space Center at their request, and we've got these cool little spacesuit things coming out. That's coming out later this year. Yeah, thank you. We definitely, we're looking into licensing will be a big play for us in the coming years, so you can imagine all of your favorite sports teams having gear for theirs for tailgate parties and things like that. So that's kind of where we're going. Like I said, we're gunning for 8 figures this year, and we're just scratching the surface, if I'm being honest, way beyond what I ever thought would come of this. But we use as a proxy a company called Funko Pop. If you know of them, they make little bobbleheads. They did $800 million in sales last year. Who thought you needed that? So we like to use that as a proxy for selling the identity products that we sell. So happy to answer any questions. Thank you. Thank you.
Tyrone, it's amazing.
Should I stand here? Am I talking to you?
Yeah, you're fine.
right.
I'm so proud of you. This is insane growth.
Thank
I'm
you.
just wondering if you have any plans to do like fancy oversized cardigans. I'm wondering if that's on the...
We might be able to whip one of those up. Huge
Okay,
market,
well,
huge
we can
market.
talk. Yeah, no, they really are.
It is.
So what has been like I know you're like kind of shocked by your own growth in a way. Like what has been kind of the thing that was most exciting or like...
Yeah, I mean, the growth is incredibly exciting. Be careful what you wish for, however. Growth is really challenging. And again, you stack major growth on top of a seasonal business, on top of a global pandemic with supply chain issues. It's been really challenging. So I don't grow at this pace, if I can recommend anything. In the long run, it'll be worth it, but it's a very heavy lift right now.
I bet. Yeah, that's a lot. Well, and so how have you been managing it then? Like expanding the team slowly, like?
Yeah, we have an incredible team. Like we definitely have the right people on the bus, and that's one of the benefits of being in this community and why I moved here in the first place is the support of the entrepreneurial spirit. And there are incredibly talented people that we've been able to pull on board. And so we kind of stacked the deck really high initially, and we brought in a lot of people to manage from the top and build the teams below them rather than trying to figure out, you can't figure this out on the go. We needed to bring people in that know their department and then they can fill out that department. So that has helped us stay afloat currently. As of today, we're still afloat.
I'm really impressed, and I'm like feeling for you too, because you're like, oh, I had this like little idea, and now it's like this huge monster. And you're like, is your life feel quite different because of this, or?
Oh, absolutely. I started this business, and I thought I would sell 500 a year. This was an attempt for me to learn how to build a small business and put a team to place, so that the next idea that came through the door, I would know who to contact and who to plug in to help me sell another 500 of this other weird unit. Like I said, I've been here before with other weird units. So that has been, it's beyond anything that I ever thought that it would be. And I dream big, but this has eclipsed that by far. And there's a lot of room left.
It's really cool. Okay, any questions from the audience for Yes.
Are you looking for investment dollars with partners?
Are you looking for investment dollars, partners to help you scale and grow?
Great question. Not a general solicitation, but we are actually imminently opening a funding round, our first. We've been bootstrapped to date, and definitely with the rate of growth that we have and with the visions and the ambitions that we have, we're looking for runway to go get us there over the next couple of years. So yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's so exciting. Great question. Thank you. There was another one here. Yes.
You said you've been here before. I'm just curious, how many other failed ideas?
How many other, quote, failed ideas have you had? Ones that weren't as successful.
Yeah, to be sure, this is the most successful by far. Every day is a new day for me. So I've had a number of things that I've tried, and it got to the point where I sold a couple, and my parents thought it was interesting. Or I did a thing that I was up on stage for previously called the Fireside Audio Box, and I had a successful Kickstarter, and I got a first round of product produced and out the door, and then decided that was the liability there was too high. And so this one is the one that's leading me tip of the spear to the experience that I'm having as a quote unquote successful entrepreneur. And I'm not at all successful at this point, but the growth is there.
So as a kid, were you always coming up with something to sell or an idea or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I have a 9-year-old son, and he's always got the next big thing. He's I'm gonna go sell dog toys at the park. I'm like, yo, that's a great idea. We should do that. And so I'm trying to do that. So yeah, same thing. I've always been, again, more of a front end, more of a tinker. I like to create the ideas, and so I didn't ever think that I would run a small organization of 20 plus people and millions of dollars being pumped through. It's wild.
No, I know the word millions when you're talking about dollars, and they're you're responsible for them. You're
right.
Oh, okay. So, do we have another? I think we have a time for yes.
How do you select what channels you go to market with?
How do you select what channels you go to market with? Thank you.
Love it. Yeah, and I don't know if this will answer the question, but people look at this and think, oh, you must kill it on direct to consumer, and you must do all things through your website. And we actually made a strategic decision very early on, which has really paid off, which was to go the retail route first. People ignore that, and it was actually Mike Wallenfels, who I think I see right here, who gave a talk at one of these years ago that was talking about the size. You hear about the growth of DTC, but what you don't hear often is that is still the total size of that market is like a golf ball, and compared to the size of a basketball for retail. Like retail stores still exist. Brick and mortar is still a place to move product. And in addition, that allowed us to get our IP in place over a couple of years without exposing ourselves too much to, everybody overseas that is just watching Kickstarter and watching all these sites to find the next thing to grab and just pump out. So we went the DTC route and we went gift first, and then we've worked our way into the outdoor markets as well. So I hope that answers your question, but grab me if not.
I just really want the NFL to pick this thing up.
We're working on licensing.
And then at the same time, I'm like, did I just curse you? I don't know. But it seems like that could be really like a very cool experience to just...
Yeah, we have some licensing consultants that we work with, are working with, and that's a long-term play, and there's a lot, that's a really spiky problem to deal with because you've got to bet up ahead of time which teams are going to do well and what do you do with what's left. And so we need... That's the thing I'd ask for. We're in addition to some funding, we're looking for really smart money or smart people without money that know about the licensing world in a really in-depth way. And then the other thing that we were looking for is someone to help us clean up kind of the financial house, and that goes all the way down to like the actual hiring of kind of maybe senior level staff accountant, something along those lines. So I outsourced accounting 6 months ago, and that was a bad idea. And so I'm still reeling from that, and we're right back to where we need to make another decision about how we're going to do that. So from the accounting side of things, would love any advice or help somebody in the crowd has.
Do we have one more question? Yes, all the way in the back. Where can we find you? The product, I'm assuming, because he's right here. But yeah, where can we find these?
I get the best margin if you just come directly to my website, puffindrinkwear.com, and that's, again, WEAR.com. But we're in, 3,500 stores nationwide already. So in town, you can get us at the Bend store, you can get us at REI, you can get us at Mountain Supply, Hello Sunshine in the Old Mill, Newport Market. So there's quite a few places here in town as well.
Are you having fun?
I am. It's stressful, but there are days like this, and sometimes it's really exciting, and sometimes it's like, what have I gotten myself into? Yeah.
Well, it's great to see you here. Great to see you in person. I'm really proud of you, and we're totally rooting for you. So I hope you'll come back and give us another update soon.
I will. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, everybody.